in this new area of Baltimore.
So we went to see the double feature. And it was the 36 Chambers. And the other movie was the Bruce Lee movie. And I said to Biz, I said, what you think about that? He said, well, Shani, when I die, and you know, I'm 15. When you're 15, you make promises about every damn thing. You agree to everything when you're 15. You know, because you don't really think about it, you don't see it. He said, but Shani, you know, when I die, I want you to do like this. And we was watching the Fist of Fury. He said, I want it to be like this. I said, so what you want me to do? He said, yeah, you know, I would like for you to like run in and dive on my casket and be like, teacher, you know, why you leave me so early? Why you do that? So I said, yeah, of course I'll do that for you. And you'll do 36 Chambers for me. So then he said, all right, let's switch it. I'll do that one for you, because the person, remember, Bruce Lee gets hit in the head for that one. Remember, somebody got to bust him in the head with the shovel because he's acting up at the funeral. So he said, instead, you do 36 Chambers. My family had a fit. They was like, you really getting ready to do that? Let me tell you one thing about the Juice Crew. Let me tell you one thing about my era. Your word is everything. So no matter how popular we got, no matter whether or not this winds up on the Shade Room or TMZ or whatever the case may be, the fact is, my word to my brother, because you remember Biz used to always say, word is born, Shani. So I told him, shout out to the hotel whose sheet I took, because my family refused to let me bring karate gear in here. Now I don't know how it looks, anything, but I just want y'all to know, from the 36 Chambers, I'm one of the teachers that was watching everybody go around. And I need to say this to my brother. You have done well. And you have left me one of the things that you love the most, one of your most prized possessions, you have left me with. And I appreciate it. And that's Cutmaster Groovy.
And bring to the podium to deliver the eulogy, ladies and gentlemen. It's our honor to have the Reverend Al Sharpton. Ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Last week, Rachel Nordlinger, who does communications better than anyone in the country, called me and said, I want you to talk to Tara, Biz's wife. And the reason she wanted me to talk with her is because she knew that the family had asked me to come and give a eulogy. And I'll be honest with you, I have been saying for the last couple of years that unless it was a cause like George Floyd's brother's here with us. Where's Tara? Give him a hand. Unless it was a cause like that that was involved in our movement, I did not do eulogies anymore. And Rachel knew that, but she figured if Tara had asked me, I would come. And she hooked Tara in. Tara didn't know she was getting set up. And she asked me to come, but I didn't tell Tara why I wanted to be here today. Well, not too many, about 7, 8 years ago, I did Michael Jackson's funeral. And we went to the cemetery 2 weeks later, and I did the eulogy at his burial. And I'll never forget when I was coming out the cemetery, a very well-known artist. If I call his name, everyone in here, whatever age and race, you would know his name. I'm not going to give his name. He did some things with LL Cool J, so I'll give you a hint. And he stopped me coming out the cemetery. He said, Rev Mal? I said, yes, sir. He says, I listened to your eulogy. He said, it really moved me. I said, well, thank you. He said, no, it really touched me. I said, well, thank you. He said, and if I go before you, I want you to give a eulogy for me just like that. I said, well, you're going to have to give me something to work with. Ain't much you done I could say. And I told the staff when I got back to New York, I am tired of getting up at funerals lying for irrelevant Negroes. I mean, y'all get somebody else. Because most folks live only for themselves, about themselves. Get them a little car, get them a little house, get them a little jewelry, a little bling bling. Don't help nobody, don't involve themselves with nobody, don't care about nobody. Then die. And want us to get up and hallucinate a life for them they never lived. The reason Tara had no problem with me is Biz wasn't like that. Everybody in this room is here because Biz earned our attendance, because he was always there for us. I remember in the late 80s, scripture I would raise, 137 songs. There's a scripture that talked about after we were taken captive, they mocked us and said, why don't you sing one of those songs of Zion? And the scripture responds that they said, how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? The late 80s was the birth of the rise of rap emerging into hip hop. It was a strange time in this country. We had seen some racial murders. Howard Beach, young boy named Michael Griffith got killed just for being in the neighborhood as a black in a white neighborhood. And in the middle of all of this rap music started coming out of the Bronx, coming out of Queens. I remember they had a movie, Crush Groove, and Russell called us and said they were not going to let the movie play in a certain theater in Long Island because there was a little fight the night before, and we went out and marched on the theater, Lowe's Theater, and said if you didn't let it stay there another week, we were going to boycott y'all everywhere, and we ended up, Crush Groove became a big movie. All of us kind of the same age, Russell, Spike Lee was doing movies. And these young kids started this music, which was an urban cutting kind of music. Some of us that wasn't born down south understood that our movements and the music had to blend together. That's when LL was, who I knew from Allen Church. All of us was kind of like, they were the younger kids, but they changed the culture of the world. No one understood that what they were doing change the culture of the world. Whereas some of the artists from the South that were black